Welcome back to Super Sentai Reviews, episode 10. And this one, I'm going to go over the 3 Gokaiger films. Starting with, and this is out of order, actually, this is the second film that they came out with. There were 3 overall. There is this one, the Gokaiger versus Space Sheriff Gavan, and Gokaiger, Goseiger, Super Sentai 199 Hero Great Battle. Go shift first because I want to talk about this one first. This one is not as really big as the other 2, but I figured why not talk about this one first. This one is simply put the ghost ship one is that, okay, a ghost ship has wandered into Tokyo and the Gokaigers go to investigate it. And this guy who only appears for this one movie, and he never appeared in Mega Force I can think of. They try to stop him because he wants to plan to do something. I'm not sure what it is. And he sends the Rangers basically to the afterlife. And they have to go through various stages, basically battling various villains. Also battling an army of grunts from previous seasons, some of whom I have not seen yet. And they also take on some of the main Sentai villains. Some of them, a few of them, not very much. There's one I did like, and I think this one I did watch the episode where this guy sure showed up. They brought in Baseball Mask from Go Ranger, and it wasn't like oh my, oh crap, they're here. He's like, how nostalgic! It's the Go Ranger. Thank you for doing Go Ranger for me. Yeah, apparently he was happy to be show up at the Go Ranger. I guess that's how the writing was. He was the only one I thought was interesting because he was the one who actually had character. The rest of them just either grunted or just did nothing. But as for the villain himself, he was nothing really much, and he was destroyed by the Megazord. Well, his ship was. He was killed by the Red Ranger. Yeah, it's a decent movie for what it is. I kind of thought they would go back to the moon and see what the Super Sentai bases were like up there, but nope. I do recommend probably watch this for people who are hardcore Super Sentai fans. Is it necessary for Gokaiger? No, it really isn't. But I do kind of recommend watching it just to see how really kind of bizarre this movie is. It's nothing really noteworthy, not like the other 2. Oh, and the Zankanki do not show up in this movie at all. It just, the movie is kind of a throwaway movie, per se, because it was the 30th anniversary, so why not bring back everything, per se. But the only thing really of noteworthy that I found interesting was seeing Baseball Mask. And he was a one-shot villain from Go Ranger, the original Super Sentai, which is what this one's celebrating. Okay? I give that one an 8. It's a pretty decent movie for what it is. Special effects wise, it's pretty decent for a 2012 budget. Okay. Next one is Space Sheriff Gavan. I want to save the other one for last. The 199 battle. This one had them team up with Space Sheriff Gavan, which kind of did confirm that the Space Sheriff, the Metal Hero series, did take place in the same universe as Super Sentai. They were kind of confirming that with Kamen Rider when they did crossovers. Basically put, the Gokaiger just walking down the street, and then this beam of light comes down these stairs, and it's Spaceship Gavan. I, of course, have never watched Spaceship Gavan, and the reference that happened in the actual show, but I haven't watched it yet. I will get there, but I want to get through more Sentai first. And despite the fact I didn't watch it, they do a pretty good job explaining exactly kind of what happened during the Sentai, like of how that the main antagonist force, they mentioned a character named Don Hoare, who was the main villain of his particular series, of how he was killed, and the main villain of this one, who is not the Zanganki. And this one takes place toward the end of this particular Sentai, like between the episodes 40 and 41. Yeah. Basically takes into this dimension which Spaceship Gavan thought was gone, but it was still around, and apparently it's used as a prison, and there's a prison there. And when the Rangers go, when the Gokaiger Rangers go to rescue him, this is of course after he captured them, just to expose this space chief. as sort of working for the Zanganki, and it turns out he was posing as the main villain posing as him. And of course, all of them did escape, and Gavan himself was captured. And of course, they also had evil. They also had a evil spaceship Gavan. Basically, his suit is very similar to that spaceship Gavan's, but it's more dark and the eyes are different color too. Though later on, Gavan himself does destroy this particular one. Let's see what else. When the Gokaiger go to rescue them, they go to the prison where he's basically kept, and they just walk around the prison, and then they run into a floor which is full of, you're not gonna believe this, former Sentai villains from the previous few ones. Like there's ones from Gokaiger, there's ones from Barakanger. No, not Magi Ranger. Yeah, they bring in the vampire woman. Yeah, they brought her in. The pollution minister. They brought in several people. I mean, it was nice to see these villains. And as what happened to this movie, completely unexplained. Maybe the Silver Ranger probably took them in and probably just made them basically, I don't know, curators of a Super Sentai museum. Who the heck knows? It was nice to see them. And of course, Captain Marvelous would have been the one to save him. And it's actually revealed in flashback that Marvelous actually kind of knows who he actually knew when he was a child. Basically, because he saved his life when he was a child on a cargo ship which he started up on. Gavan, of course, does not really fully remember it, but once it kind of starts with a pat on the shoulder. That's where it kind of starts. And somehow that basically caused Captain Marvelous to remember Gavan. And then, of course, when Marvelous explains to Gavan of why he's rescuing him just to repay an old debt, that's simply what it is. And it was also nice to see him basically transform into Gavan, and they kind of explained it. It was really bizarre. Yeah, apparently it takes 30 seconds for him to transform into basically in this metal form, which is kept on this gigantic spaceship. I am not kidding. If you see what this spaceship looks like, they didn't show the inside because I didn't watch it. I didn't watch Spaceship again. I don't know what it looks like on the inside. But this ship is gigantic. This ship is the size of a stadium. I'm like, what the heck could Gavan be using this thing for? A prison, per se? Who the heck knows? And it's also nice to see the Gokaiger Rangers morph into their Ranger forms. And then battling the other ones, and of course, eventually defeating Don Horror's Ascendant. Of course, also in the Megazord forms. And it was a really nice movie. And it was... See, the reason why this film happened was because a fan tweeted the creator of Spaceship Gavan is like, what's being planned for the... What's in the plate for the 40th anniversary of Spaceship Gavan? And he says... Actually, it was 30th anniversary. And he says, good question. Now, there have been some comparisons to Spaceship Gavan. He's similar to RoboCop. That's it. There's some comparisons, per se, like how he moves, like how it's very similar to RoboCop, but who knows. It's a great movie. I give it a 9 out of 10. Now to talk about the film. The film that pretty much Super Mega Force adapted for the Legend finale. For the Mega Force finale, which is Gokaiger, Goseiger, Super Sentai 199 Hero Great Battle. I mean, the film starts off with the Goseiger being attacked by the Zenkai, the first wave, and there's a force battle, and apparently it's not implied that their mech was destroyed per se. It was simply just heavily damaged and was knocked down. And they're trying to get away, and then they somehow knew exactly who these other people were. Like first it's Aki Ranger of the leader of Go Ranger, and Big One of Jack. And then of course they bring in two people from Die Ranger. They even bring in the resurrected main villain of Magi Ranger, him and his lover, who are reformed, by the way. And it was a surprise to see him because in Power Rangers, the main villain of Magi Ranger is simply put a guy who possesses a bully. In this one, it's slightly different per se, but it's nice to see that you have former villains who are redeemed, and seeing that great battle again was awesome. And now the rest of the battle, I kind of knew what happened because I watched in the pirates appear. Oh, I almost forgot to mention the previous episode of how the Sentai ends after they defeat the Emperor. They return the Ranger keys to the original owners. They return the powers. Every single one of them. They just let them go. Though they do kind of get them back in what's the name of the Sentai? It's the current one that's on right now. It is Zuhonger, I think it's called. Yeah, it's the 40th Sentai, which I've only watched a couple episodes, but basically, I just watch it just to see Captain Marvelous. Yeah. But, what else about it? Okay, that when you first see the Gokaiger, they're just battling more troops, and the two people, I completely forgot to mention the main villains of who they are. Basically, the Prince is simply similar to that of how he acts in Power Rangers. Even though he's a little more cowardly there. His bodyguard, per se, was actually the Blue Ranger's mentor. And the Blue Ranger used to be a soldier in the Zengenki Empire. The Yellow Ranger was a thief. The Pink Ranger was a princess. Why not? And Doc, of course, apparently was his hero, and apparently lost his power. And apparently, when he got his memory back, basically he says, yeah, he was never really here, he was a fraud. Basically, he lied about all his exploits that people have been crazy about him for. So, and of course, the Zengenki Empire basically didn't do much for him per se because they didn't care about him because they thought he was just worthless. And the villains pretty much, the supporting villains in the Sentai pretty much serve the same function they do in Megaforce. Like Chief of Staff Dormas. Basically, he serves the same exact function as he does in Megaforce. Though, like there's events that happen here that happen. It's like the same exact events that you see in Megaforce. Like after the Prince is killed. And of course, the bodyguard's actually killed first, and he's killed by the Blue Ranger. Though in Power Rangers, he has no connection to the Blue Ranger at all. In Super Sentai, he does. Basically, was his mentor and friend, which they pretty much just rebuilt him as a robot, and they kept his source techniques basically. And that's also where the Bioman tribute came in. Basically, without a way to reverse him, there was no way to do it. And of course, they met the guy who did the transformation process. And how the supporting villains meet their end. They meet their end the same exact way they do in Power Rangers. Like how Domas is made giant size, killed by the Megazord. The tech woman, which kind of like, it's more implied in Gokaiger than it is in Power Rangers that she has a thing for the Prince. Yeah, it's more implied that she has it there than she does in Megaforce. Megaforce, it's barely there, while in Gokaiger, it's heavily implied that she has a thing for the Prince. Maybe because she has somewhat for power. How they meet their ends, they pretty much meet their ends the same exact way they do in Power Rangers Megaforce. Okay? Now, this is before the Emperor showed up, and this took place very early on, so why not? And when the Goseigers show up, they take by the Ranger keys and transform into the Ranger forms. This, of course, is after the two people, I don't merely remember their names. One is, like, if you remember what they look like, Green Woman, who's the tech person for the Prince, in both in Sentai and Megaforce, and of course the bodyguard. Yeah, after they leave, after they run out of troops, like they're about to like they go through a bunch of different Ranger forms, and then they're about to do Goseiger, and then they show up completely out of nowhere. You kind of see them in shadow when they come out, and they take all their Ranger keys. They get their powers back, and then Oh, I almost forgot about Space Sheriff Gavan. The actor who plays him also plays two of the Sentai Rangers from the third and fourth Sentai, and they talk and they figure the way to get in there is to use their Ranger keys, which I'm kind of like, I kind of get the reason why, because it's the same actor, which I do praise the actor for reprising not only Gavan but also these other two characters, and plus also the blue uh, Sentai. I believe he's from the fourth Sentai, Dazi Ranger, I think it is. It is Dazi Man. Yeah, that guy. He's also in this movie as well. He's also 199. Great Hero Battles. Yeah, and somehow they made him off screen. They meet the Black Ranger from Battle Fever J, which is essentially the same actor. Um, yeah, and somehow because they have similar looking appearance to him, they decided though that they should use their Ranger keys to get into this dimension, just to get to Gavan. And of course, Gavan runs into him. He's like, hey, you. And then they also, and I thought this was really neat that they did at the end of the movie, that Gavan and the other two transform to their forms. It was really nice of them to do that. Though I think it's probably just the same actor. They just use camera tricks to do all three in the same time. But back to this movie. The guy himself doesn't play a big role in the movie. He does something. He does his profession since losing his powers. Basically, he makes pastries, and he goes to a place and hands them out for free. But he does also sell them too. A lot of these, and of course, some of these former ones, they run into each other. They just basically they're just act like old friends. And the main villain of this film is the Black Cross King, who is the main villain of Go Ranger, which I have not watched fully of Go Ranger, but I know who the character is because I've read about him. Basically, the Black Cross King is a leader of the Black Cross Army. It's this army of villains. Basically, a lot of the time, Sentai were about armies or criminal organizations. Basically, they wore monster costumes. And if you see what he looks like, he has a great look. And I keep thinking, though, why hasn't Power Rangers used this guy? This guy is a great villain. Though, some people might say, oh, Power Rangers might ruin him. Not if they respect him enough. Maybe if they brought in the writers from, like, let's say, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to some of the other early ones, they might be able to use them properly. But yeah, he makes deal with the princess that they'll take care of the Gokaiger in exchange for the Senkanki getting Earth. Like, Prince is like, okay, that's perfectly fine. So they basically made the pact via handshake. Somehow the prince gets his hands on the chest. Well, the chest, basically, how they get his hands on it is simply put because the Red Geki Ranger broke into the ship to get this one key. That's all he wanted, was this one key. And they were surprised to see, in fact, this small little thing can talk. And, of course, then they're all set to various different places. Now, of course, he gets his hands on these keys, and they all get sent to... Before they get sent to the various dimensions, basically, he resurrects three villains. Brazi the Messiah. Basically, he brings back the main villain of Geki Ranger, Gokaiger, and I believe the third one is, if I can remember him correctly, I think he's the main villain of Maji Ranger. Yeah, I believe he's the main villain of Maji Ranger. I don't think so. No, I think he might be the main villain of not Baku Ranger. Oh, yeah, it is. It's one of the Maji Ranger villains. It's the Hades god. They bring him back too, though he doesn't do very much. It's like the other two get more to do than him. And they eventually defeat all of them, and the League Geki Ranger recognizes the first one right away because he fought the guy. Matter of fact, I think he killed him. Of course, I haven't got that far in that Sentai, but the Geki Rangers destroyed him. So like, they're shocked to see him, and he's wearing the Black Cross King belt. All three of these guys are, and they had the missions like one is the Messiah, one's the Pollution Minister, Mr. Pollution, the other one is just Hades God, whatever. And they all have to kind of work together. Like they had the let's see, they have, and this is before the Silver Rangers showed up. They had what it is. They took two Red Rangers, had them take on Power Jet, I think his name is. They had the two blue and two yellow take on um, the pollution minister. Yeah, the pollution minister. And they had the other four take on the Hades guy, which they all defeated pretty easily. But then came a little bit of a surprise. He took the Ranger keys and pretty much brought them back as, well, his servants. But they pretty much destroyed all of them, all the previous ones, and of course with the help of the Robo Knight, which I haven't got to win when he shows up in Gokaiger Ranger yet. Go on, Gokaiger. How do you pronounce this one's name? It's the previous Sentai before Gokaiger. It is Goseiger. Yeah, I haven't got to. I think it's Goseiger Knight. I think it's Ghost Knight. I think his name is. I haven't got to. I've only a few episodes since I haven't got to him yet. Navi Ranger somehow finds his key and gives it back to him. Of course, Navi Ranger wasn't captured because he's not a ranger. So he just somehow finds it. Basically, his key got knocked in the corner. So that's how he was not able to be turned into an evil servant. So then after they get all the Ranger keys back, and then they started to combine all 35 teams into basically making this Super Sentai canon, which I can understand why they used it once, because it never appears ever again. Imagine if they use this for Power Rangers, which, God forbid they ever use this thing. This thing was so powerful, it destroyed the first form of the Black Cross King. And it was nice to see all these Rangers like give us your power. And of course, he had little nods, seeing all each other Sentai Rangers basically giving their approval. Also, I forgot to mention the O-Ranger tribute. Basically, they brought back the red O-Ranger, who was the captain, and the pink one. And the pink one was basically distracting while he gives up their power to them in order to rescue the other ones. Totally forgot O-Ranger. Is there anyone I forgot? Ones I saw. Let's see. Let me think. I don't think so for those tribute ones. Yeah, I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting. Like Magic Ranger, the leader did show up, but he just hadn't basically gone on like a quest per se, and try to catch him per se. And that kind of sort of. This is very early on in this. I forgot to mention this. Because I was just trying to get through so I could talk about these movies, but I'm remembering now about these tributes. Am I forgetting anything else? For this movie, after of course they give back, they give these permission to use these powers. Of course, that's how the Super Sentai canon comes about. And then they summon their mechs after Black Cross King goes giant size. And of course, they're trying to fight him. And then, all of a sudden, something miraculously happens. A miracle. And this is probably the biggest surprise of the movie. And this is done very well. A lot more better than they do in, well, the CGI for this one is a lot better than Power Ranger versus Gold Blasters. Great downside battle for our friends. I'll get to that one when I finish up Gold Blasters and Power Ranger. Yeah, the CGI is a lot better. Basically, what happens though, because the people have hope in the Gokaiger and the Goseiger, that they use their hope to bring back every single mech that ever existed in the Super Sentai, every single Megazord, every single one, and seeing all these mechs, it is a dang surprise to see. Even for a lot of, I have not seen the Sentai yet, but. And if you ask, did this one come back? I was like, yes. Every single one. Except the only one I can think of did not come back. There's only two I can think of did not see there. I did not see the White Tiger Zord. And I did not see the Mega Silver Zord. Basically, the regular Megazord did show up. but pretty much a lot of them. I don't think that the Mega Winger showed up. Basically, the main Megazord they had show up for that one. But for uh, Cocker Ranger, they had both of them show up. They had both Megazords show up. Of course, I haven't finished watching that particular Sentai, but they had all of them show up, and they just and pretty much, and when that happened, they had him basically make all these other villains from these previous Sentai. Excuse me. And it was nice. Some of them basically, a lot of them I had never seen before because I hadn't watched a Sentai yet. And then somebody thinking, well, I haven't watched this Sentai, why haven't I watched this one? Because they do kind of a good job explaining exactly what the Sentai are and what exactly they are about. That's one thing about Gokaiger does really well. They do explain the Sentai really well, so it does keep my interest to go and sit down and watch them. I'll watch them soon. Right now, I'll get to which ones I'm watching right now when I finish this video. But after Black Horse King is killed, then basically, and simply put, after he's defeated, the Goseiger Rangers give up the Ranger keys to the Gokaiger. Says they're safe in their hands because they did a good job saving the Earth. Probably, maybe they sensed that this was coming, but who knows? But yeah, and of course there's a cameo by the Silver Ranger, like and this of course is set prior to his first appearance, so it's nice to see a quick cameo of things to come. But overall, this was a dang good movie. Yes. Of the three movies, Gokaiger versus Space Sheriff Gavan and the 199 Super Sentai Battle film, those two are really good. Ghost Ship is okay, but it's pretty decent of a film. So, I give the 199 Battle, because it is such a great movie and so great. I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's a great movie to watch. Now, before I end this video, I'm going to talk about basically what Sentai I have finished. I am planning on talk about. I have finished up O-Ranger, Jew-Ranger, Die-Ranger. Those three I have finished watching. I watched them all completely through. And I've watched O-Ranger and Die-Ranger's movies. Those three I'll talk about really soon. In the next episode, I'll talk about O-Ranger. The following episode, I'm actually going to talk about the O-Ranger versus Cocker Ranger, because the Cocker Ranger will really, even though I've talked about this a little bit early because I haven't finished watching Cocker Ranger yet, but yeah, it doesn't spoil anything of Cocker Ranger. I'm going to explain my problems with the film when I get to it. And that's in episode 12. Episode 11, I'm going to talk about O-Ranger. 13, I'm going to talk about Jew Ranger, and 14 talk about Die Ranger. Yep. And that's probably as far as I'm going to go with this series for now. And well, the series will continue, but after episode 14, it's going to go on break until I finish watching some more Sentai. And the ones I'm currently watching, I have watched episodes 4, is Go Ranger. That I'm watching right now, that I haven't finished watching, is Go Ranger, Cocker Ranger, Hurricaneger, Shurikaneger, and Goseiger. Excuse me. These 5 I'm currently watching right now, and I have not finished watching yet. Go Ranger will take me a while because this one's 80 episodes long. 80 episodes. The rest of whom won't take me as long as, it might take me a couple, 2 or 3 days at most, but Go Ranger will probably take me the longest to get through. And this one is the only one of the ones I'm currently watching where it contains stuff. Cocker Ranger, kind of. I did see a little bit of this in My Ranger Season 3. But Go Ranger, none of the footage I've ever seen before, so it's completely original for me. But the other ones, I have seen the footage before, so yeah. Hurricaneger, I'm only about 10 episodes in. Shurikaneger, I'm about 4 or 5 episodes in. Goseiger, pretty much the same thing. Go Ranger, also. This one's about 6 episodes I'm in right now. But yeah, I will get to those eventually. But I want to talk about in the next few episodes. Oh, I'm also working on Car Ranger. Yes, that's another one I'm working on, is Car Ranger. I'm working on 6 Sentai right now. That Car Ranger, I'm about halfway through it right now. So I should be getting that one done in the near future if I can find some way to watch it. But so currently, right now, the ones I'm currently watching that I have watched episodes 1 and 1 is Go Ranger, uh, Cocker Ranger, Car Ranger, Hurricaneger, Shurikenager, and Goseiger. These 6 are the ones I have that I am currently watching right now, and I will eventually probably finish them up in the future when I can. But I've only got 3 more Sentai to talk about, and like maybe one more movie. As for O Ranger versus Car Ranger, I'll probably talk about that after I finish up watching Car Ranger. And of course, I have to watch and review Car Ranger. And I have heard that Shout Factory, their next Sentai they're planning to do official sub for is O Ranger, which I'm hoping to do a review of that soon, which is next episode. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is O Ranger. Okay? But until then, I will see you there. Bye.